What up, everybody? Another episode of the Undefined podcast.
I'm doing some Twitter promotion for this.
That's the first thing you do whenever you go live, is to figure out did the tweet, are we actually? It's like every GoPro video starts like, is it on? Is it on? Is it on? Same shit. Yeah, it's up. We'll let people join. We're starting at we're a little 5 minutes earlier. We'll let people join on in. I'll retweet Ken A. The new retweet thing is ridiculous, right?
Oh, such bullshit. Like, we're preserving democracy. Brr.
Yeah, if you go to the... Oops, I shouldn't switch accounts here. Yeah.
So it's pretty not on Periscope? It's on YouTube?
It's on both.
What the fuck?
It's restream. Yeah, dude. So, like, it's restream. So, like, it goes to all the places all at once.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of neat. So that's pretty tight.
That is. That's fucking neato, my dude. Wait,
we gotta get you a webcam.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. If you go to the Undefined, Twitter account, you'll see it. The Periscope.
Oh, yes, there is a
Periscope. It's going live on Periscope.
Periscope as well.
Yeah. Faux real. So that's we're on all the channels. We're global now. We're global. We're letting people join. Welcome if you're just joining us. We got 14 peeps. 10 on the Periscope. We got 10 on the Periscope. What on Periscope? We got 4 on YouTube.
Periscope.
Oh, we got 18 on Periscope. God damn.
18 on the scope.
On the scope. What? Oh, 20. 24. No, more total. All right. Should we get the show started? I don't know if we can wait 5 minutes. Can we? Fuck it. Should we just do it? 30. Dude, we did this right. You know what happened last time is that Twitter literally like shut the bed. Well, yeah, it was like we were first episode back, it just exploded. So we lost all that noise. That sounded like a drink.
That was a drink.
What are we drinking? Let's do a little wait, let's not get have our skis here.
Let's not get right into that.
We got a whole show to do. It's very exciting. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It feels good, and it feels good to be on a schedule, and it also feels good to do this live after work. When the whole lunch break thing, you couldn't really get shit faced. But now that I'm done with work for the day.
Yeah. Exactly. So 2 more minutes, we'll get the show started. But yeah, just waiting for people to pour on in.
I'm gonna switch to a different Wi-Fi. I didn't realize, so I might go frozen for a second, and I'll be back with.
I think this shit will actually just do it. It'll pick it up. We'll see. Right. But we'll turn you off for a second, and you can rejoin. Ooh, Restream is so dope. How butter is that?
You like my new track jacket, Jared?
Is that the one with the gold?
Mm-hmm.
The gold. Oh my gosh.
I look like that guy that like walks in the room all pissed off. That gif. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. Dude, I know that Borat is coming out next week, but I really wish that he did another Ali G movie, because that shit is so funny. If you want to laugh your ass off, watch Ali G compilation highlights on YouTube, and it is a joy, honestly.
You know, I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen has ever been particularly funny.
The Ali G shit is funny though. You gotta admit,
with the exception of Talladega Nights.
Oh, he's pretty good in that. He's pretty good in that.
Where
all right, we're at 529. Yeah, Talladega Nights is pretty great.
Ricky Bibby.
All
right, man. I mean, it's close enough, right?
It's pretty close. Yeah, we should just fucking do it. All right. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to the Undefined podcast. I'm Jared Palmer.
And I'm Ken Wheeler. What the fuck is up? Today we have a super special guest, none other than Ben Halpern. How's it going, Ben?
It's going great.
Co-founder of Dev.to and Forum.
Mm-hmm. Which is really one thing, one company, not two things, but we have expanded the scope of what we do.
Is this like an alphabet type deal?
It sounds like it's alphabet.
Yeah. I mean, in a way, like we built Dev, and then we eventually made it open source. But we made it open source so it's for other people to use too. So an extraction. So forum's really what we work on technically, and the work on Dev is more like
The instance.
writing blog posts and other things like that. But yeah, Dev is one instance of forum. And our organization also owns and runs Code Newbie, which we didn't create, but Saran joined our organization. Saran Yabarak, founder of Code Newbie, came in. So we do all sorts of developer-related stuff and open source work in social media.
So tell the folks who are not familiar about what like Dev.to is, and why it's so awesome.
So it's a platform for posting blog posts and having discussions and generally, taking part in community within software. So, maybe a little bit more focused, a little bit more, oriented around community than just, Twitter, which serves its purpose. But, it is needs to be complemented by something a little bit more actively fostering community in software, helping folks get up to date, feel like they're a part of this machine, proactively, and generally just like help people learn things they're missing out on if they're not keeping up to date. It's hard to be a software developer if you're not caught in the loop. And Dev is a response to that, an attempt to build out good community vibes within our industry. And it's open source, and we've recently named the open source code base forum, which is spelled FOREM, and that stands for the phrase for empowering community, and it's starting to get some users for other use cases, both stuff we're hosting and stuff folks are hosting on their own. And we're just 24/7 building out community software as transparently as we can.
So I'm curious. Twitter is a steaming pile of shit.
Dumpster fire, if you will.
How do you keep your properties from descending into the same madness?
Yeah, so going back to the beginning of the whole thing, this project started as the Practical Dev on Twitter, which was myself, tweeting things. A lot of it went viral. It was a lot of humor. Try to keep things positive versus cynical, but it's just like part of the Twitterverse. It's a dumpster fire. But the values of the whole thing, is really an attempt to build some community, and that became harder and harder to do on Twitter just as it scaled. Like you can't moderate any conversations on Twitter as an individual. Twitter makes a very, very loose effort to at least moderate away like the worst, but it doesn't even really do that. And so Twitter's a 24/7 argument, and there might be some net good to a lot of parts of Twitter. It pushes ideas forward, which maybe would have been left as fringe, and some are good and some are bad. And but there's a lot of bad, and especially in software, there's not a lot of attempts to get together and educate and just focus on uplifting one another. And so through the Practical Dev, I really understand like how to do Twitter on some level, and I think like that helps grow our voice. But in order to uplift as many people as possible, we really felt like we wanted to start something from the ground up and do it right. And so we have a lot of moderation built in. We uplift our most positive individuals to help with moderation, and not like the sort of, Reddit style, like hardcore unilateral moderation. It's a lot of crowdsourced, work that folks are doing, and it's pretty it's simple work for folks to just like make decisions within the platform, and it bubbles up to the top. So we've really felt like just by really focusing on creating a scalable moderation system, focusing on uplifting the folks who are interested in being teachers above everything else in software, and then like really just focusing on good ideas. And and just the conviction that like we felt like Twitter, if they ever cared about this stuff, it was at best an afterthought.
Right.
And we wanted to do this stuff proactively from the beginning. So it's not like one big technical innovation. It's not like you're going to take the forum software and you're automatically going to create an uplifting environment. But we've baked in a lot of the stuff we've solved into, you know, decisions, into things that like scale, have a user interface that the admins have an easy time with. And yeah, and ultimately just like really didn't settle on letting it, you know, descend into a dumpster fire. You really are what you tolerate as a community, and
I like that.
Tried to, we haven't, you know, we haven't tolerated.
It says a lot about Twitter,
yeah,
and even more about Reddit. But like, yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, so
I like that.
I mean, I've been on internet forums for like most of my life. It's a thing I've done, and you know, like it's
it's been around for ages, right?
Yeah, and in every one of my like interests, I really enjoy finding online community. And when I was younger, I felt like there was more community vibes in the things I was taking part in. It wasn't necessarily like better in every way than it was today, because I think it was also like exclusive. It was hard to take part in some of these communities if you didn't like fit the mold, weren't willing to put up with trolls and things like that. So it's not like there's not things to be improved on, but you know, personally, I've you know, I became very disenchanted with like the promise of Twitter, and really wanted to put my efforts into this space in as productive a way as I possibly could. And we built a team. We built a team, you know, like that uplifts like some of these original ideas and really just like, you know, does really good work.
So Ken, before we get going, because I have like tons of questions that was super awesome. I just want to, you know, go on with the show a little bit. We got to do a drink check because it's the Undefined podcast, and that's what we do. So what are we all drinking? There's 2 drink minimum here on the podcast, and I guess we'll start with Kenneth. Sir Kenneth Wheeler, actually.
Well, just like last Thursday, I totally forgot to order liquor.
Nice.
So, and I drank all my wine last night. We had a lovely dinner. And I mean fucking lovely dinner. And I had to bring what I have. And that is
Claw.
Box of Claw.
Box of Claw.
I'm already about 2 deep in, you know, the 7 minutes that we've been on, so we'll see how it goes.
Ain't no law when you run with the Claw.
What are you sipping on, Hoss?
Okay, I think it's Michter's. I don't know if this is an autofocus. There you go. Michter's. Small batch bourbon whiskey. It's pretty good. Got it as a gift. It's numbered. It's number 16E676. I don't know. My plan is to drink all of the alcohol in the house that's left is gonna get done. We got to cycle through it all. You know, that all that shit that people have been like gifting you for all the years. Like, pandemic is time to like finish it. Like, just get that shit through. So this is like one of those like gifted with bourbons. Well, yeah. Well, you know how it is.
My brother gave me a bottle of whiskey for Christmas, and it was gone before New Year's.
That's how that happens. Ben, did you bring an adult frosty beverage or just a beverage?
Yeah, I didn't get the memo, but I am drinking seltzer.
Didn't get the memo? The fuck is that?
Lemon seltzer.
All right.
Lemon seltzer is delightful.
Lemon seltzer is
very delicious. Yeah. I'm
Are you in the East Coast or West Coast?
East Coast, New York State.
Got it. So there's really no excuse. I was about to give you an out, being like, well, it's only fucking 2:30 or whatever, but you know, no. East Coast though. East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where in New York?
I live in the Hudson Valley. I lived in the city for the last 7 years or so, or for about 6 or 7 years, and then I moved to the Hudson Valley, which is a couple hours north of the city now, which really was like good timing, like pandemic wise. Like,
yeah, you timed that right. You do that before the pandemic, though, if I recall.
Yeah.
I've been discussions.
I've been outside of the city for now, like a year and a half at least, and just bought a home in this area, and yeah, really, we left the city, but my wife and I left the city. We work remote. Like, our company is fully distributed. Like, we were
ahead of the game.
Everything was compatible with the pandemic. Not that the pandemic doesn't suck, because I wish,
of course,
I'm Canadian. I can't go home. That's a big problem.
Interesting.
they won't let me unless I stay there for a long time. But I'm now 3 hours from where my brother lives driving, and I can't even go visit. So that sucks. But work and personal life and stuff, like pandemic was easy enough. Just
where in Canada are you from?
I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Holy shit!
Hot damn!
All right, yeah. What do you want to know about Halifax?
Tell me all about it.
Yeah, get us the inside of that, and then also we got to get back to the coding stuff after that.
All right.
Nobody knows coding.
I'm from Halifax, famous for its fisheries. It's the place where the largest non-nuclear explosion took place in 1911.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Yeah, I read about that. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, we Ellen Page is from my hometown. She's
really
like school with friends of mine.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, question about moderation. Back to Dev.to stuff. All right, so something, I don't know, maybe this just happened out of luck, but it's fucking awesome that it did. So like Medium, I hate Medium now. I'll say it. I hate's a strong word, but hate I feel like is like adequate. Like I don't read Medium. I used to read Medium. Was awesome when it came out. Do you remember that shit? Oh my gosh, it was like a breath of fresh air. Where it was like, holy shit, this is like web. This is like the future of the web. This is how editing should be. And then and it was great. It was like phenomenal for like at least like I don't know 2, 3, 4 years there. And then they were like, once it got time to like make money, they destroyed it. And I like barely read any, like I refuse to open Medium links now. Like I don't even do it. They tried their own platform, it's garbage. And now what I feel like is, and maybe this is just me, but I think like the, like people like the dev community has like a lot of it has moved to Dev.to. Like a significant amount of that Medium content has moved. Was that like just dumb or like, was it conscious? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah. So I love Medium when it first came out too. Like it actually like, if anything, like helped me get into this space because I made a Medium account. That's where I remember I wrote an article about React when it first came out on Medium, and then I tweeted about it, and the React Twitter account retweeted me. That was like a fun moment. It sort of like helped me realize like a little bit about how this ecosystem works and things like that. I like the idea of the platform. It was really simple. I've also been doing side projects in this space for a while, and I remember I was working on something like well before Dev or anything else, but actually like a long time ago. It was just when Medium was coming out, and I actually someone like convinced me to sort of like just quit on my current project because it was really a lot like Medium. And it was a good idea. I was like newer in my career. Every single developer has been creating blogging platforms since the beginning of time. It was pretty good advice just to kind of like not to get a job. The pure entrepreneurial thing is tough. But anyway, so so I was very familiar with Medium. It's been a space I've like been fond of for a long time. But my hypothesis about Medium was that it didn't make the individual the like center of its universe. So like the point of Dev so accurate. Is that it's for devs,
right?
And my like the simplistic way of viewing this is that Medium didn't even have code highlighting, and even if you don't like code highlighting, like
neither does Slack, by the way. So like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's kind of like a shorthand for like if Medium can't do code highlighting, like what are they even doing? It's like their center of the universe is publishing, and that kind of concept.
Yeah, I think they were trying to do that, right? They had like they bought like a couple like big people out of like a couple of newsrooms, right? And they were like trying to make like Medium content.
Medium wasn't about code; it was about
user generated content.
San Francisco.
Right. It was it's like user generated BuzzFeed, but even though BuzzFeed is user generated, but like user generated like content, right?
Yeah. So either way, like Medium doesn't have like a central culture, and if it does, it centers around things like why I'm leaving San Francisco or whatever. And it's not like Dev is perfect at this. We're constantly trying to like uplift the right content for the right people, and it's a real challenge. And actually, part of the reason we're doing forum is because we actually don't want to try to squeeze everything into dev.
I see. You're trying to like instead of like what Medium did was like fuck it all up, like silo it in its own. Let it be siloed in their own micro communities. That makes sense.
So I mean, in a way, like so Medium, I had a pretty strong conviction that there was like I wouldn't say like I read this material as like first-hand information, but it's interesting for like kind of discussing the issues. So the word disrupt is used in ad nauseum, or at least like had been for a few years. The entire show Silicon Valley really kind of puts a nail in the coffin of like legitimately using terms like that. But the concept is actually specific. It goes to like some theories and some books and stuff, and it's the notion that like you can essentially like smaller companies can fork off a part of what big companies do and do them really well until they have leverage and they can do more and expand and grow and stuff. And the way big companies avoid this is usually by like new experiments, and kind of like how like the gasoline industry, the gasoline car industry had a hard time shifting to electric because there's so much going on in gas.
Right.
So a company like Tesla comes along and it like takes up a small piece of the industry, which is like the electric vehicle crowd, and it does that well enough until it becomes this big successful company. So Dev had a lot of promise in that regard, and just by doing some of the software stuff really well, actually trying to form community and the stuff we care about. And
I think that's a big difference, though, right? Like Medium never tried to build a community. It was very like, I don't. There was no like. I mean, maybe there's moderation, but like I don't know anybody that works at Medium. Like I never knew anybody that worked at Medium. I never like interacted with them. Like
as more of an I than an us.
Yes, exactly. Well put.
I mean, and a fantastic self-back-patting machine.
Correct.
And it does a good job of being like a sensible default for a lot of things. Like when Jeff Bezos posted about dick pics on Medium, that was like the place to go. And it's where Obama goes when he wants to like be in a place that's for the people. Yeah, and that's why people don't post on their own blogs as much anymore, especially in mainstream, is because they actually kind of want to like, they don't want to make it all about themselves. And Medium actually kind of is one step away from that, but it's still kind of all about you. But it's definitely not about community the way even Reddit is, in a really unhealthy way, but at least it's some kind of community.
So yeah, let's double click on that for a second. So I have a blog. I don't really write that often. Why would I, having been burned by Medium before, like I have a blog, I have a couple posts on Medium that blew up, and now I can't control that interface. I don't own that. I can't like for a long time I couldn't even put a subscribe button on the bottom of it throughout going right. And so like, why would I trust like? And now I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to trust another platform. Why would I want to put my stuff on Dev.to? And what is that differentiating factor that makes me want to post to it versus my own blog? Like do you see a separation, or you think like, fine, duplicate the content? Like what's the thinking there?
So a few things. So one is fine, duplicate the content. We've tried to be really, friendly to cross-posting as a concept from really early on. Like we make it really easy to send canonical URLs to your own content, but then publish it to Dev where
you do canonical URLs to your own content. That's awesome.
To other sites. Like if you set your canonical outside the platform, we respect that, and we can't force Google or whoever.
Of course,
to pay attention to that. But that's and depending on the platform, like the canonical will be like if you like put the link in and like shows a preview, the canonical, it might show the canonical site, like things like that. Yeah. But mostly from day one, we've been trying really hard to be good citizens and to prove that out and to be like crazy transparent. And that's what being open source is about. Not that we can't, not that it's impossible for us to screw people over. We just really do everything we can to build good faith in this, in what we do. And but really, we actually sort of agree with that notion, which was a kind of a leader to getting into forum in the first place. So the big difference is we don't think the web should be totally centralized.
That's
Dev
awesome.
shouldn't eat up the web. We actually have tooling to help people actually even use Dev or any other form theoretically as a CMS for
That's pretty tight.
Posts, so they can actually like take their content and not just link to it, but actually like cross post it. So we've gotten up, like we go crazy with this, and it's mostly out of like a passion for actually getting this stuff right. And
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a blog post about this specifically, which I'll link to from a few years back. We'll put it in the show notes, and a few other posts along these lines. But so a few years ago, we were starting to get, we have organization accounts on the platform, which are a lot like Medium publications. It's just kind of, it's a way to organize several authors posting under one sort of domain, which, on Twitter, there's no concept of that. You have like a brand which can have an account, but there's no concept of like users belonging to that account. Medium has that. We developed that. So like with the organizations, AWS, Azure, like it's cool. GitHub has an account on Dev. There's like these developer organizations, they publish under their brand. And when we were first starting this was back when Medium was still like cool under some people's, like feelings. Like I was done with Medium for a long time. But Medium was still popular. They hadn't totally screwed people over yet. And a lot of people were asking, can we do custom domains on our Dev organization? Because that's what we want to do. And our answer was like, no, that's like the wrong primitive. We don't want your domain pointing to something we control, because that's just
that's the wrong move, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was part of the move to building Forum, because we want folks to be posting to Dev if that's the right thing to do, but also to spring up other communities, to have like, their own space that they can control. So I actually I haven't really started doing this yet, but I have my own forum, which is kind of like my Facebook wall. I can post there, but so can you. And it's actually like something I host myself.
Sick.
I don't even host it. The company doesn't even host it. It's kind of mine. And we just try to do these things really well.
Yeah, so do good by doing right. Totally a good business model, right? Like that makes all the sense in the world. That's a huge difference, right? And you can do that, right? You're not trying to also like be the next like Twitter, so that's also helpful.
Yeah, and also Forum was the business model we wanted to scale up ultimately, because if we take the pressures of making Dev work as like the business model, which employs everyone, which pays the bills, which grows, which has positive outcomes, whatever, it sort of forces us to like overdo some of the stuff we do already in the business model. So we have these like partnership hackathons where we let people do
take over the site and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's cool to the extent we do it. We do it like the right amount, and we also have like job listings on the platform, but we do it, we do it like enough, but we don't want to do it that much more. We want to like keep refining what's good. We have some podcasts we do, we have a business model around Dev, but the business model we want to scale is Forum, because that's something, if we keep leaning into it, it's gonna create much more value. It's open source. It's like,
it makes sense. It's like, that's the dual revenue stream, right? Like you can take fruits off the existing tree, or you can plant more seeds, right? And so like, and so it's long-term greedy with Forum. Makes total sense.
Where's the monetization? Is it all ad
so like they do like takeover
for Dev or Forum?
Takeover thing. Forum.
So for Forum, it's all hosting based, and some other stuff we'll do in the future. So we have other services we want to launch around Forum to help communities themselves monetize, and that might also be a stream for us. But the way we make money, early on in the Forum days is through hosting. So like we just helped launch community.snyk.io, so SNYK.io. It's a security company, I think, out of the UK.
The guys who send me all those fucking reports.
Yeah, Snyk. So
fuck those dudes. I'm sorry. No, I mean, it's like, honestly,
no, fuck those dudes.
Fuck those dudes. No, honestly, no, like fuck those dudes. Honestly, blowing up inboxes, they're worse. They're as bad as any other people. I mean, I don't know. I moved to Dependabot because like Snyk, whatever, just got like out of control. Ken, like, back me up on this. Like, that shit is
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah. It's like they automated people fucking annoying you on GitHub.
It's just like exactly. It's so annoying.
So I mean, I need to know, right? Because like
security quotes, right? Quotes security.
Ben, obviously you work with developers all day long. Do they fucking irritate the fucking shit out of you as much as they do us?
I think our organization is
It's a very political response. You just started with our organization. It's like a very
no, I mean,
well, I guess it's different
classic.
because they're not blasting your ass with requests all day long.
So wait, all right, yeah, that's true. That's true. I have another question.
No, I mean, so like we're open source. We have like there's almost 600 people have written code on forum. All in all, like, but we're a company that runs an open source project, so I think we have more resources to deal with this. Like we're not like Facebook size, but I think like we always try to see the like we love it. Like I don't know.
Dude, it's fun. It's a great site.
Yeah,
it's just a good site, man. It's a good ass website.
Now, for forum, go on. I got
so the question is, how do you so like I'm looking at like maybe this is my Dev.to because like I don't know, you guys do algorithmic stuff. I don't know what fake news is showing up. I don't know what fucking Russian troll information is showing up on my Dev.to. But in my feedback loop, I'm seeing like the 5 best React things and like this some clickbait shit. Like what's your take on clickbait? Like dev clickbait is terrible, right? Like the 5 best fucking React tips and like the 16 best VS Code plugins. Like
I get hired at Fang. You'll never guess how.
Right. It's like I've worked at Microsoft, Google, and Twitter, and I went hang gliding on Thursday.
X Airbnb, X Coinbase.
Right. So like, what do you like? I get that shit like page views. Just like discuss like what is the take on clickbait? Like because you just gave this whole spiel about like curation and like how you guys are there and moderation, but at the same time like literally like some of the stuff that's like and maybe it's just there is like some of the stuff's kind of clickbaity. Is it because it's like quality clickbait and that's totally cool, or like what's your take there? Like how do you deal with that? Or that's how it works, how the internet works these days.
Yeah, so I think that part of that's just the ongoing issue, and especially like as we've gotten, as big a site as we are, like a lot of this stuff rises to the top, and genuinely, that's another reason why we're doing so much in forum. We want to be able to put more focus into making sure dev is uplifting the most high quality stuff we can, and not care about the ultimate numbers of dev. So like
that makes sense.
We try to make the algorithm, and it's open source, so everyone can kind of see what's going on. The algorithm tries to not reward clickbait. We don't pay attention to page views. We let our moderators.
What is the without like what is like the metric for like value in the algorithm? Like,
yeah.
Is it time on page? Is it like what is the metric? What is the key? Yeah. What's the key factor of what the coefficient? Like what is the big determinant?
So it's mostly reactions and quality of the discussion, and like how some of the discussions are getting reacted to, and it's still like it's an area like I think like we're 10% of the way figuring out like the right way to do an algorithm, especially in open source and stuff. But I suspect within the next year or so, like that component of things is going to improve like massively. And I agree with like everything you're saying about clickbait and stuff. I think like our ideal approach is pretty well fleshed out. It's just not really executed on. And the way and I think like honestly like I think we need to take, it's really like the moderation policies around clickbait need to be a little bit firmer, because there's our moderators have the capacity to help deal with clickbait pretty well. I just think we focus a lot more on harassment and abuse and things like that.
What moderation tools do you use? Any services for moderation? Like I know there's like I guess like Twitter bots Smite and stuff, but like do you use any like profanity moderation, or like are there systems and services and SaaS shit for that?
We use some of our own. No, we had like we don't really use any external things.
Yeah,
most of our automated stuff is built primarily around anti-spam, and some high level anti-abuse, but we don't try to like let the robots figure out.
Can you say fuck?
You know.
Can you curse? Can you curse?
Can you say fuck?
Yeah, you can curse. So we have
what flags it?
policies.
Can you say like pussy? Does that flag it?
By the way, if you're interested in what words you can and can't say, there's a great Undefined mug. There's a mug on the Undefined shop that is a list of all banned words. There's a banned words list, banned strings. And it is graphic.
It is on the list.
So there
everything you could think of is on the list. It's brutally disturbing.
So even though the code base is open source, anything on spam and abuse lists is in the database, which is private. So like, you know, that's kind of how that works.
Is that like a stored procedure or something, or like some extra layer, or what's the?
It's just like it's in the database. So like we create a database to find out what's spam, you know, what's
got it.
But that like that's we focus way more on spam than like specific language, you know, because there's way too much nuance in like actual language. So what we do is if folks are actually using the platform to be abusive, we will ban them, but we won't make it impossible to like talk about words and things like that. And we have an editorial process where we don't any blatant swearing like won't get tweeted by us and things like that, but that's more editorial than algorithmic. And overall, we're just, you know, working it out over time. We're not like, we haven't been around forever. We're still sort of figuring out our approach, but we're try to be pretty thoughtful about it and err on the side of crowdsourcing as opposed to like, you know, algorithmic overlords.
So Ken, you've been part of a bunch of different communities over the years. When you're like evaluating, like, well, first of all, like you stop posting anything, but like, let's say you were to start posting again. Okay. Like, what are you thinking about? Like, you're going to start, first of all, like, we got to get you to start kenwheeler.com because whatever that is, I'm fucking in. But like, I don't know. Tell me about where your head's at with like platforms at this point. Like, you've had a whole thing on Twitter. You had a whole thing on, I don't even remember what, Facebook and stuff, to Instagram. Like, where are you at with platforms these days? I feel like there's going to be maybe a shift back to like, some people say like there's going to be a shift back to blogs and people hosting their own shit. But like, do you think that, Ken?
No.
Neither do I. I think it's all bullshit. I think it's all like a vocal minority.
I don't think personal blogs are where it's at. I mean, you know, if you're like fucking like Kent or somebody, you know, selling something, like, you know, that sort of thing makes sense. You know, if you're like Wes Boss or Kent Dodds or something like that, like you could have your own blog and, you know, give it all these hot tips and shit. Like, if I was gonna blog, it would be kind of like how you Medium, right, where you're fucking posting grievances to the wall kind of thing.
Oh, you mean like how I just write when I'm angry?
Yeah, I do the same thing. I only write when I'm angry.
Only time I write
recreational
writing.
Only
time I write is when I am fucking pissed.
Either pissed or fucking like extremely excited.
Sure, mostly pissed though. Like
mostly
9 out of 10, it's when I'm pissed.
So I mean, you know, as far as like social shit is concerned, where I really love right now is Instagram. I love Instagram.
Yeah, but dude, coding Instagram is fucking stupid.
Well, no, I wouldn't put coding there. That's what I'm saying. Just as far as general social media.
Well, let's talk about development. Like, dude, coding Instagram is so stupid. Like the shit on there is insane. Like, it's first of all, and this is not like this is like an objective fact. There are people on there that just post like there's I feel like there's two camps of coding Instagram. I'm gonna get in trouble for this. There is this whole like sector of like hot people in front of their screens.
You already
like, you're an attractive person and you're in front of your screen. There's like a whole order of
somebody
entire
like, with a laptop.
sector Instagram is, and then they write like the dumbest comments. It has nothing to do with it. It's just like, you're a very attractive person. You're very beautiful. You're very handsome, and you're in front of then there's code behind you. There's like a whole thing there.
By code, you mean like LSLA?
Right, exactly. And look, like fucking sell your shit. Like, you know, I don't like, that's fine. Do you? And then there's this other part that's like,
Evan.
Yeah, there's other part that's like code snippets and stuff like that, like these like call out snippets that have like they're like not real accounts, and then there's another part.
No, I've seen that where it's like really well formatted snippets.
The really well formatted snippets, right? And then there's this other part that's like I feel like it's
Toilet
like
and fucking
there's that. It's more like battle station. It's like your computer setup.
And then
random ass and like codes like it's like you're not pretty enough, maybe. I don't know, like you don't think you're like attractive enough to get on screen. So just like a sick ass like a Unsplash style photo of like your fucking desk.
Have you ever seen a thing where it's like it's like the different kinds of taking pictures where it's like
people take Instagram.
You take a picture of like the thing, like you take a picture of like the thing, or if you're an attractive person, you take a picture of the thing.
Right, exactly. And it's really weird because just like by forcing Twitter is so interesting because you could just be like fucking pithy with your words and like you don't have to put a photo. With Instagram, the fact that you have to put a photo is just like a total fucking paradigm shift. And I feel like our community, at least like I see Dev Twitter as like this big ass poorly written chat room app that we all fucking deal with. That everybody's like kind of in on.
Back to content just for a second.
Yeah, let's go back there.
And
double click.
I will be frank.
Yes.
I spent years not only providing content, providing tips and tricks, free shit, fucking you name it. Oh, fucking insights and anything, right?
Oh man, the White Claw is so on right now.
But I didn't put out clickbait. I put out genuine shit. And more importantly, I think why a lot of it stuck was that I said it straightforwardly, right? I said it genuinely, right? And that requires injecting a bit of yourself into the content.
Correct.
Right? You can't just be fucking, egg avatar developer. Here's how to do this, right? There has to be.
Record, Ken, you actually look like egg avatar like developer.
That is fair.
It's a fucking accurate description of Ken Wheeler is egg avatar developer.
Yeah, literally an egg. But no. What I'm saying is that the content needs to have a bit of panache, right? It has to have some flavor to it.
Personality shines.
Some personality there, right? And what had happened to me was apparently
too much personality.
I put the personality there, and
we all love your personality. We all wish you would come back.
A lot of people weren't fans of that, or at least projected things onto that. That I don't know. Maybe they thought I like fucking remind me of the person who beat their ass in high school or whatever the fuck happened there. But I digress. After that whole thing, I find myself like way less motivated to produce any content at all. Right?
I think your incentive structure changed, right? So. I'm going to comment on Ken Wheeler's life right now. So from going from the director of open source at Formidable Labs to redacted finance job, like you don't give a fuck, dude. If anything, it's a liability. If anything,
it's a liability.
No impact on your day to day. It's no
realistically not worth it.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I guess like it's always worth building a brand. Right? Like I say that genuinely, like it's always worth building a brand, but for you, I don't know, maybe not.
I'll say this, and that is, if I were to do it, I'd feel safe somewhere like Dev.to.
For sure, I agree.
Right?
I don't think Twitter is a safe space for that necessarily, like for raw dev stuff anymore. I don't know why.
No, not at all.
Look, there's just shit changed. Like there's too much shit going on in the world, right? Like there's just
So
like, how do you deal with that with Dev.to? Like what's your stance on like? I'm sure people post like political, like I'm sure people post like Trump shit like on Dev.to. Like, what do you do with that? You just like cancel it and like put it away?
Really?
No, I mean, I don't know. My last post was about Trump, but it was just about the news that his password was MAGA 2020 and he got hacked. That was today.
His password was like MAGA 2020 exclamation point.
He did not have 2FA on.
He didn't have 2FA. So
put 2FA on, all listeners. 2FA. Also get a YubiKey. Fucking do that shit. Get a YubiKey. Get a YubiKey. Get a hard key.
especially if you're the president. So anyway, we allow people to talk about politics if it's constructive and useful, but it's a software community, so like if it's not totally on topic and it's going to get gently downvoted, and it's not going to become this whole thing. Like you can't like proliferate stuff you hate on dev.
Right.
On Twitter, that's like the whole
pretty much the point. Pretty much the point.
So people spend more time with stuff they really like, and they spend time with people they like, because you can follow people. So like, you know, to the point of clickbait, like the more people you discover and follow, the more your algorithm's going to look like people you discover and follow, and then you don't need to do clickbait if your people are following you.
Right.
But but that's kind of an ongoing process, and it's also difficult because like if you're not already doing that, like we don't even have like suggested followers after you sign up, which is just a problem. So like that's part of how in the long term we'll deal with clickbait, help with that and stuff like that. But
got it.
Ultimately, like I don't like think there's an easy answer that we do it better, but there's certain like mechanics of Twitter that make it really, really bad. So we have to be like sensible with our approach, and ultimately things turn out a little bit better, and sensible with like how we build features. So like we were talking, I think like before we came on or early on, like Twitter now is trying to deal with things with like retweets, just a slight redesign of retweets, which is not fundamentally like helping the problem, especially because they benefit so dearly from the problem, like from the outrage, because it's so addictive to follow. And so I'm not like, I think like there's good in a lot of this stuff and bad, and it's like painful to take part in it though. Like it's kind of like almost like good that some of this stuff is happening. Like
it's weird that know it's bad for you, but you do it anyway. It's like fucking really, really dark that like we all know that all this shit is like really bad for our mental health.
Isn't that
like
weird?
White Claw and like White Claw and like bourbon and like all this shit that we do is
I'm gonna
like,
I'm gonna take a leak real quick. Check out these pants.
Ken, you're not taking a leak in the middle of the podcast. Are you really? Just wow. For the folks listening when we re-record this, and I'll put the snippet in the fucking podcast recording. Ken Wheeler is wearing lumberjack red pajamas. Unbelievable. Wow. Talk about a professional. Anyways, while we're taking this brief sojourn, Ben, so like let's talk about this tech stack briefly about Dev.to. So like it's all Rails. I respect the fuck out of that because like you know what it is. There's a little bit of Preact, right? What influence is that? Just like you're like this is definitely a Rails app, or like what influenced your decisions there? And like what do you think about all like the serverless stuff? And like tell us a little about like the stack.
Yeah, so at the time of its inception, the practical dev was already a thing, but I've been like scheming, you know, what's the website associated with this project and and also at the time I was working in Node, and so like no tech decision is made without just being frustrated with the last thing you did. Like,
I think fucking put. It's all a reaction to the last shitty project you were on.
Yeah. So, but I'd worked in Rails before and genuinely was just like happier in that environment. And but it was a real it was an emotional rejection of Node a little bit. But at the time,
what about Node? Let's not wait. We hate Node on. We don't like. We're not big fans of Node for backends.
No, not at all.
So like, tell us. Let's what was the problem with Node? And I want to like make this very clear to people. Yeah. So let's hear your take.
I don't think like my problems are the problems with Node or anything, but my issues at the time with Node just in compared to Rails, and Node I thought that Node had like a million suggestions for how to do something and like no opinions on it. And
true.
I really think the conventions in Rails just help you make decisions a lot faster. And then like some of the tooling, like the Rails console is just like way easier than the REPL in Node and stuff like that. And Ruby's just
dude, I have never. Ken, have you ever used the Node REPL?
No.
Neither have I. I didn't even know it has a REPL.
No, it has.
I don't even know.
When you just type Node in, it gives you like the REPL.
I literally have never. I don't develop. I don't know if I'm just weird.
If I want to use a REPL, I'm going to do it with like Python or something.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, or Ruby, you know. So
okay. So okay, cool.
So the development experience in Rails, like especially getting started, and a project is only as good as it starts. You know, like
okay.
I don't
know that. All right.
I mean, like if you can't get it off the ground, if you're
sure, yeah. First week is very important.
If you're
progress is very
decision
important.
fatigue early on, like it's going to be hard. So I don't think it's like the be all end all, and or that it's better than other things, but it was there was like an emotional reaction to part of it early on was definitely an emotional reaction to just being sick of Node. Just
and like how Railsy is it? Is it like full active record, all the shit, or is it like just like kind of Rails?
Our site is like pretty Railsy to the extent that the code base is organized. We have lots of service objects. We don't try to like cram everything into like the models. We have decorators. We have like lots of ways to organize the code, but it was definitely like started as conventionally as possible. But the a big component of what we do is caching at the edge, which means that most requests, like at least the original page that loads, doesn't hit the Rails server. So like Rails is an implementation
like Fastly or like CloudFront or something.
So Dev is hosted on Fastly. We set surrogate keys. We determine we let Fastly determine if the page is stale, and Fastly. So at the time, and the caching industry like has come a long way, but at the time, I like, and this is like just a few years ago, Fastly was really like they did instant purge. Like their CDN was for dynamic content. Like it was not. There was no notable latency between like flushing the cache of a page. So I can cache the page up until the point someone comments, and then I can flush it, and the next one's cold, but then it's warm for everybody else. And I had the like obvious sort of thing is that like all of these sites are way more read heavy than write heavy. Like for every like tweet you make, you read like thousands of tweets. And Twitter's not a great, Twitter's not a perfect analogy there because Twitter's extremely dynamic. Yeah. But something that's like fundamentally built around these posts, especially the ones that get distributed heavily, like if I write a post and it gets 100,000 views and like 1,000 comments, like I've just like really used the cache well. And that's like, that's a post, like that's a really popular post. Like it gets distributed. It's the top hit on Google. It gets hit over and over and over again before it gets flushed.
And the Rails server is not meant to handle that shit. So like you got it. There's a cache from the beginning. I get that. Yeah. That makes sense.
And Rails powers GitHub, it powers Shopify, like Rails has come a long way, but the best way to use anything is to not do any computing. So we do all the computing in the cache, and we can like send this, there's ways to like, it's called edge compute these days. There's lots of logic there in the caching there, and we can make choices and stuff. But then, so that's a big part of the architecture that was really important from early on. Like that was like a principle I worked on. Like I'd sort of like been big on that and just felt like that was a differentiator. Just like, if you can give anybody a feature, it's their time back. Like don't make their page take too long to load. And there's way too much
that's legit.
And
Ken, is your shit cached at work? You guys use CDNs?
No, it's all on.
No, yeah, it's all live, right? It's all on-prem, right? So you guys don't do any of that.
Why the fuck would you cache it?
I don't. I'm asking a question, Kenneth.
I'm just saying it's. I mean, I guess like the public-facing shit probably is,
but you don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, it's all,
I know. I've been building like apps for so like I don't know. I've been building like apps for so long. To be fair, like my dad's WordPress site is cached like the fucking to the nines. We actually just moved to the service. We moved to Pressable. This is like automatics hosting for WordPress. Mm-hmm. Fucking amazing like consumer experience, dude. I called them. A human picked up. A human being. It was like, yo, we'll move your shit for free. And they did. They moved it. They moved all like 13 or 15,000 posts and like gigabytes of shit for free.
Yeah, and that's what we want to be with Forum Cloud, like dude, that's awesome.
For free. Amazing.
So I don't think caching is the right tool for the job if you're doing like internal stuff or not, like there's a thing for the job. But this was obvious, like so part of the nice thing about Dev being a side project is that like I really got to like put my values into it. So I really wanted this place to be like inclusive and welcoming and do net good, hopefully,
that's very Canadian values of you.
Super, yeah. Sorry. This is awesome. Sorry,
guys. Have a good time. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you like
Can't go.
poutine?
Yeah, I love poutine.
Fucking every
love
Canadian
poutine.
loves poutine. Oh my
So I
god.
Fucking Ken loves poutine, motherfucker.
I had
Poutine will be the mascot of this podcast if there could be a mascot of the podcast.
I will make poutine
I
right
had
now.
I had some friends from back home visiting us recently in New York, and we kept going to places that had poutine, and they kept wanting to try it to see how it was compared to like poutine they know. And I'm from the East Coast, so like poutine is really a Quebec thing, but all in Canada, you know, at least you get good poutine in general. Like, but anyway, they kept trying poutine and always being disappointed, and I was like, why do you keep doing this? It's like, why do you keep coming? Why do you come to New York and you're trying the poutine everywhere?
Well, it's like I feel like it's the Canadian pizza.
Is there any good poutine in New York?
I don't know. It's all fine. It's fries.
It's all fine.
Cheese. Like
how
bad can it get?
I've had decent poutine in the U.S. 2 times. One in Chicago. I guess they have access to cheese curds that make it possible from Wisconsin. And the other one, I shit you not, was in Orlando, Florida. And I don't know how they pulled it off. They must import it. But it was fucking incredible.
Dude, I miss traveling. I miss like hanging with all my. You know what I miss most? Like fuck this pandemic, but like honestly, you know what I miss most, Ken? What? I miss going to like conferences, and just doing stupid shit with your friends in other countries. Oh my god! Like
I know. You're telling me.
Just miss. You remember we were in fucking London last year, dude? We were just like, you were in that. I don't know. We were in like fucking we're at Downton Abbey with that house that was fucking sweet. We just like walked to some random ass bar. And like that's what I miss the most is this like going.
Dude, that was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
That like fucking cougar was trying to talk to us.
Cougar, I was gonna bring it up.
Her husband shows up.
Yeah, the cougar was fucking hitting on us, and we were like, "What is this happening?"
Yeah, that was something.
That was really something, and I don't mind the travel. The whole premise of this entire conference culture was just hilarious. Just like take these like socially awkward kids, and then put Ken and I there, and scene, and then roll the tape. Right? It's just amazing, so funny.
I was thinking the other day about how much I miss this. Like,
dude, it was so fun. Also, like the biggest joke of all of it was just like that shit was real. They used to just fly us around doing nothing, dude.
I mean, we would give our presentation and shit, but the whole
all the things, and they were great. They're great. But like all this shit moved online to like Dev.to now, and I feel like it's never coming back. I'm not super.
Thanks a lot, Halpern.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Like you did such a good fucking job that like I don't know, Ken and I can't because we're never going to London by ourselves. Like
I might.
For no reason.
So, yeah, that is. I mean, I feel like I love my local coding meetup, and that's what I miss way more than like actual conferences.
Sure, same shit. Like the people that you like. You know, the regulars. And by local, I mean, Ken and I like would travel the world and see the same fucking 50 people everywhere. Same 50. They're like 100 conference speaker circuit. And, you know, every 2-3 months, like, honestly, I'd see them more than some of my friends from like my friends from New York.
I know.
Right? It's like I'd see them more than like high school or college friends because be like, oh, like I usually I don't know, I give a conference talk like once every month or 2 or 3, like, and then you do some like activity or I don't know. It was great.
I miss Poland. I miss Mike Grabowski.
Poland was fun, dude. Poland was
fun.
I wasn't there when you were there, but you know the story, right? I don't know. There's this brief sojourn. Ken, why don't you tell the story of how you missed your conference talk? Because I heard about that shit, and you weren't even there, and I heard about it.
So yeah, that was something. So I went and there was like a
story.
It was like a speaker dinner, and then afterwards everybody's drinking. So then we're out at this like bar, and they're like, "Let's go to this shot bar," right? So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go to the shot bar," and I'm hanging out with this dude who worked at CallStack, right? So me and him are chilling, and then we were like, "Yeah, let's go into this adjacent nightclub," right? So like 9 Red Bull vodkas later, we're like, king of the nightclub, having fun, right? Fucking, I leave there, right? It's like 5 a.m. It's raining. I'm walking home like 8 blocks in the rain.
In Wrocław?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm like, I get in. I go up to the hotel room, and you know, I go to open my computer to like put the finishing touches on the talk, right? So then I wake up. So my talk was at 10, and I woke up at like 9:50 with my pants at my ankles, fully clothed, with an open laptop, and I'm like,
Oreo cookie is half open.
I go and I look at my phone, dude. Mike Grabowski's like, "Where the fuck are you, dude?" Da, da, da. So like,
You were the keynote, no?
yeah. So
You were
I'm
the
like, Jesus fucking Christ. So I
Amazing.
go and I like run downstairs with the laptop. I drink like 2 cups of coffee, like faster than you should drink 2 cups of coffee that are that hot. I eat like all this fucking crazy like Polish breakfast food. Like I'm looking for like croissants and shit. I'm sitting there eating.
I've
like,
been at that.
like,
I've been at that. It's like nothing you actually enjoy.
I'm like, honey and lunch meat. Fuck it.
It's like lunch meat for breakfast. It's fucking weird.
All right, let's go to town here. So
it's like shit you would have normally skipped at school, but like it's there, so you're like, all right, I guess this is what we're eating.
No, some of the stuff, like a lot of the food that they had was like
it's
amazing, but it's just the breakfast is so
is so not right.
It's like just food.
It's not breakfast at all. It's cold cuts at camp.
Yeah, it's like cold cuts for breakfast, and they do that a lot of places. Like I saw that in like Mexico City, like they do cold cuts for breakfast, and like I just don't understand cold cuts for
runny
breakfast.
ass eggs, but like there's only like a little bit of eggs.
I saw that
there's
in
not
Egypt,
enough
too,
eggs
where they have that sort of thing. But I digress. So like I walked up, and they're like, "No, we already switched you with Natter, so you need to give the next talk, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm like sitting there in this chair, and I am so fucking hungover. It's like the most hungover I've ever been in my entire life, and so I go and Natter finishes up and I'm like, dude, thank you. So then I get up on stage, right? And I'm like, my name is Ken Wheeler and I've had a hell of a night. And then I go and I give my talk, right? And then I'll never forget, right? This actually made me never miss another conference talk again. I'm going to give a shout out to Yanni Avacalio, right?
Yeah.
Because this was crazy. So like I walk out and like after my talk, it was like the break. Like, you know, the first 2 talks and then you're in the morning break.
Yeah.
So I had like the morning break and I'm like, I look at Yanni and this other dude Imran that I worked with, right? I'm like, oh shit, boys. I'm like, that was close. And Yanni's like, he's like, perhaps you should think about, you know, your substance abuse and how it relates to your professional life, or something. And I was like, damn, that cut deep. Like, but you know what? You really have to understand, like, he really is like such an amazing friend to like actually say that to somebody. You know what I mean? Like, who actually, you know, like a lot of people were like, haha, you're funny, man. But like for him to actually say that, right? Like that was like some friendly ass truth.
Yeah, and then Ken never missed a conference.
I never missed another conference talk ever again.
There you go.
God bless that Yanni.
But we do miss. Well, first of all, I miss Yanni. Also, we just miss conferences.
Yeah, I mean, you know, flying on planes, getting fucked up in airports,
and on boats,
off in hotel rooms, all of these things.
Fantasy drafts and all, I mean, all the things. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap this little episode up. Let's do some picks and let's go grab some dinner. Every week we pick our favorite things, whether they be dev related or consumer products, whatever floats the boat. Kenneth, I think we will start with you. Oh wait, Kenneth is opening the door and Kenneth is now back. Ken.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. Picks of the week.
My pick of the week?
Besides the child that just walked in.
I was going to say the child that just walked in. Children are amazing. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
This girl has picture day at school tomorrow. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
School?
Mm-hmm. Yep. She just went back to in-person school. She has picture day. And she is a fan of unicorns.
This is wonderful news. Unicorns are a great pick.
Hi, Jared.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, we're just wrapping up, so I'll be up in a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go. Hey, don't forget your iPad, Chief. So my second pick of the day.
Yeah, second pick.
Would probably have to be this new Adidas tracksuit. Now I'm gonna send that with a caveat, right? Up until this point, I've always been a fan of the Firebird tracksuits, right? Have you ever seen an Adidas Firebird tracksuit? It's got a collar that comes up and folds down.
Okay, yeah. The collar, the whole like the flipped collar thing. Yeah, this is not. This is like a bomber jacket collar
style they have. That's like a bomber jacket collar that I was never particularly fond of, but it was the only one that had this reflective gold pattern, which was required.
Dude, I gotta say, like bomber jacket. I know it's been around for a while. I'm so glad that came back. It's just like the greatest thing to bring back into your. Not that I see other people at this point because I'm a hermit, but like if I did, phenomenal accessory in the wardrobe.
It's absolutely crucial.
It just solves a massive problem in the fall of like, and even towards early winter of like, fuck do you wear? That's it. That's the end of the sentence.
Speaking of that, what are you going with this winter? Are you going to go with that goose again or what?
Oh, like I may go to Vermont this winter. Like I'm Arc'teryx, and I mean that goose is like the city jacket, but it's so fucking big, dude. The Canada Goose. I got the fucking tank one. Oh, dude, one time I was walking with that thing, and some like really annoying, like stuck up woman in the park was like, I actually don't remember what she said, but she was more like, how many fucking goose died for that, or like fucking chinchillas died for that? You fucking fuck, like wearing blood on your fucking thing because of the fur collar thing.
Yeah,
I was like,
keep my ass, go fuck yourself.
I did a terrible job telling that story, but it was uncomfortable and awkward, and also like, why are you trying to fuck with me on a Sunday morning in the park? Like, what are you doing? Like, where's your life at? Anyway, I digress.
I was just looking at the Moncler. Have you seen the Moncler biker?
Yeah, jacket? Dude. I haven't seen the Moncler biker, but like Moncler stuff's pretty nice. Dude, I'm like Arc'teryx for like hardcore shit.
Fucking biker jam, dude. Like that's a real trotter.
Arc'teryx for like hardcore ski shit. All day, every day.
Have you skied yet?
No, there's snow at Stratton though, so I'll be going up in a couple weeks. But
Ben, do you ski?
I know how to. I've never skied. I know how to snowboard, but I haven't done that much in my adult life.
Well, great time to start is the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Activities now. Ben, let's get some picks for you, man. What's the hottest shit these days? Anything.
Right,
products.
Here's some picks. Yeah. Stuff. All right. I'll start by just plugging some of the stuff we're working on. So within very short amount of time, we're gonna have a forum more generally available for us to host. And technically, people can self-host right now, but early 2021 we'll have a lot better tooling for that. Story. We really want people to be self-hosting because that's a sweet way to do it. But these are communities for people to gather, not just indie blog sites. So they serve, I think, a lot more purpose on the web. So that's that. So if you're curious, you can go to forum.com. It's still kind of a work in progress landing page. We really sort of like to just not put extra work into the stuff that's not our core actual software we build. Second, I do a podcast once a week, but we also have off seasons, so it might not air every week, but there's a great backlog. I'm on the Dev.to podcast, and we do, I think, pretty high quality interviews with really interesting people. So if you're interested in a good show where I'm on every week, that's one to check out. And in other things, so I'll here, hold on. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about this until this sentence, but let's see. This paint in my room, it's a little dark in here right now. It's like late. I don't have much light in here yet. So I just moved into my house, but this paint's backdrop. It's really good quality. I felt like it's paint for millennials. So I was sort of skeptical right away. It's got like
what's the brand? What's the make? What's the
backdrop?
What's the label, brand, make, color?
Backdrop. Yeah.
It's like, they know exactly what the fuck is up. They just know it's being used for backdrop.
What's the rub?
Good.
It's it's great stuff. I love it. I was sort of like my wife wanted it, and I see it as just kind of, it looks good on Instagram. Why don't we go to the hardware store?
What makes a paint a millennial paint?
No, because it's got like a fancy can and like Helvetica font and that sort of stuff. Like it's
I see.
Marketed for people my age.
It was like $17 extra, but
wow, that is a
shit.
Fucking fancy can.
Yeah. So, but it's really great stuff. I think like I've dealt with shitty paint that I don't like using, and it also doesn't like smell at all. It dries like right away. So
but then you can get like a little high. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird high. You get a headache after. Wow, this is really cool paint. I just
That's
painted
dark,
my
Ken.
entire house.
That's real dark.
And this shit costs so much fucking money. It's
yeah,
fucking
dude, houses cost
insane.
money. Insane.
It's like thousands of fucking dollars to paint a house.
It's ridiculous. All right, picks for the week. I got 3. 1, my brother just had a baby. There's a new Palmer.
Oh,
There's a
shit.
new fucking Palmer, dude. There's
Uncle
a new.
Jaybird.
That's 25% Jared genetically. Crazy, dude. Aaron, fucking shout out. Amazing. Aaron Palmer.
A young lady?
A young little lass.
Wow. Lady Palms.
It's amazing. Yeah, Lady
Congrats,
Palms.
buddy.
Amazing. Yeah, thanks. I'm really excited. Super pumped, my brother. So that's been like the big news. The other things that are available. All right, 2 other picks. One is this thing called there's this thing on GitHub called TypeStack. This account TypeStack. And there's one library they have called routing controllers. And I write Kotlin all day and I write Drop Wizard all day. And it's very it's very modern Java. It's Kotlin, obviously. This is the closest thing I've seen to mimic the patterns, at least, of my Kotlin stack in TypeScript. And so it's very interesting in that sense, in the sense that it's like mimicking some Java shit in TypeScript. It uses all this like interesting decorator reflection stuff, but the end result is very similar to like Kotlin, but in TypeScript. So that's cool. I was playing around with it the other day. I thought about porting some of the Kotlin stuff over to TypeScript only for like more mass adoption. Because I think like if people saw how I wrote Kotlin, they'd be like, oh shit, that's actually super fucking nice. So anyway, that's another one. So routing controllers. The other one, TypeStack, is the GitHub account. And then the third one, shameless plug, Formium is live.
Is it?
That shit's live. Yeah, Formium. Formium.io. The next generation form builder is live.
You about this shit?
It's live. It's been up. It's been live. We're like in like hype soft launchy mode thing with friends. But for those listening to the podcast, it's available. So check it out. It's a form builder. Builder for the next generation of shit. So if you use Typeform,
beautiful, you gradient loving motherfucker.
If you use Typeform and you hate Typeform, if you use SurveyMonkey and you hate SurveyMonkey, then check out Formium, because you can just use your own React components instead of having to like use Typeform's bullshit.
This is really nice.
Yeah, thanks. Spent an inordinate amount of time building it. And the docs are live too, so they're now docs. And Formium React is open source. So yeah, shameless plug. Thanks. It's Tailwind, baby. Tailwind fucks with the power of 9 suns.
Yeah, Tailwind fucks with the fury of 9,000 stallions.
Yeah, exactly. We have to get those motherfuckers. Oh, dude, we gotta get them on the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
All right, everybody. Everybody. Ben, but on this podcast, we had Ben Halpern talking about Dev.to and Forum. Ben, thank you for coming, man. That's fucking sweet. And also,
I might come post some blogs over there, man.
We should post some shit. We should post this episode.
Please don't. We got a nice place.
He's like, please don't moderate it down. But if we title it like either it's be like fake news from Russia, or if we title it the 10 best things about the Undefined podcast.
No, I'd like to write like a legitimately useful article, like dancing around like there's so many cool things that I do all day long at work that I can't talk about, but I could like dance around them.
That's I say, Ken, I love that you make like stupid money now. Like fuck you. I love that you make fuck you money, and then you have this big ass house. You got a fucking pool, all these things. But the fact that you can't tell the universe about what you do is an absolute like disservice to the planet.
Maybe someday I can let these secrets fly, but that day is not
until
today,
then.
my friend.
Until then, on the next episode of the Undefined podcast, we'll be some mango jewels. Anyway, Ben, thanks for checking out. How can people follow you, Ben?
Well, on Dev, they can follow me, Dev.to/Ben. They can follow me on Twitter at Ben D. Halpern. Ben D. Halpern. That's my Twitter account.
Word.
And,
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. And this has been another episode of the Undefined podcast. I'm Jared Palmer. He's Ken Wheeler. And we'll see you motherfuckers next week. Follow us on Twitter at the Undefined.io and check us out online at undefined.fm. and Ken is going to keep talking over me. So anyways, but peace and love, and stay safe, stay frosty, and wear a mask.